Wow, Taurus. You guys' readings, I swear. Okay, so underlying energy, we have this powerhouse of a card. We have Judgment coming up. Judgment, it's the card before the end of the Major Arcana. The last card of the Major Arcana is the World, and that's the card that comes after this. But this is like before that. This is before we're ready to complete a cycle. What do? We look back at the cycle that we've just been on. We look back over it. So this it plays out on different levels. I always say that there's different stages to judgment energy. And I've spoken to other people, like, especially people like learning the tarot. And one of the most difficult cards that they have trouble with is the judgment card. And that's because it does talk about change. It talks about transformation. It talks about something that, a rebirth in some situations, something that we thought that was dead, it's gone. We thought it had gone, sorry, and it's come back to life. It comes back to life again. Now, that's why you have these people coming up from their graves, right? But I think what a lot of people forget about this card, or maybe choose to ignore, is that it is a brutal energy. It's transformation that takes place, yes, but transformation that takes place by looking back at, what's been holding you back, what's painful in your past, what's this cycle that you've been on. Because you must relinquish that. You must make a judgment call on it once and for all, let it go so you can move forward. So we look back, right? And that's why it's very kind of biblical in its kind of depiction, but we are look back at the life that we've lived. What did we learn from that? What did we go through? Same with us when we go through that cycle. So these people, they've done that review. Now they have a second chance at life because they're done with that life. So one aspect always ends when judgment shows up. It doesn't mean that a relationship ends or you have to lose your job. It's not that kind of a transformation. It's about true transformation that takes place inside of us. There is an element of forgiveness that is connected to this card. Either forgiving other people, because sometimes we hold on to past hurts, we hold on to things that have been done to us. And we're not actually punishing the other person by doing that. We punish ourselves. We put ourselves through that again and again and again. So judgment's like, you need to let go of that. Whatever that was the old you, that was an old life. It's time to forgive and let it go. And that can be difficult for people because it's like, well, I don't want to condone what they did. But harder still than forgiving someone else is that this card sometimes talks about forgiving the self, forgiving yourself for anything that you've been through. Because sometimes we can kind of beat ourselves up. Why did I go through that? Why did I do this? Why did I make that mistake? And so judgment says, well, you know what? You learned from that, right? You learned from it. You took away the lesson that experience taught you. And now you can face the future without fear. You won't do that again because you draw a line under that situation and you go forward. So that's an amazingly huge energy to have coming up as your underlying energy. So it might be that this is what you're going through, and maybe going through April has helped you with this. You've been looking back, you've been thinking about what you've done, but you're ready to be reborn. That's what this card talks about. It's the rebirth. I know sometimes people think that, some old relationship's going to be revived, or they have a chance at a job that they thought they'd lost out on. But even if that happens, guys, even if it is that, it's completely brand new. The energy is brand new, that you can never go back to the situation how it was. It's a brand new situation. They've all got new lives now. They've risen up from the graves because the old life or situation killed them. Now you can't go back to that. You'll end up in the same place. So you do it differently. You're a new person. And so we have this Six of Cups. And this talks about looking back. So, that's what I mean. These two cards are very much connected. The Six of Cups, it's nostalgia. It's looking back at the past. And I always say, look, if you look at this card, if you can see it clearly, the guy here, it's like he's taking a walk through his gardens, and it's almost like these two are not even here, or maybe they are there and they're reminding him of when he was a child, because he has like white hair like these guys do as well, a platinum blonde as it were. And this is nostalgia, this is looking back. So this could be part of this process. Maybe it's meeting up with old friends. This could be a conversation that you had with an old lover. If you're trying to move forward into a new life and your new love life even, sometimes it's helpful to have that conversation. It doesn't have to be someone that you're getting back together with. It can be in some cases, but I always try to urge people not to go there. Look at it more as, what do you learn from that situation? because I have exes that I'm still friends with, and we can talk about things sometimes, and there's no emotion involved in it. It just shows, wow, I've changed so much since I was with this person, since I was in that situation. It doesn't just have to be love. This could be overall. I mean, this is a massive energy, so this is going to affect more than just one area of your life. You could be looking back at your childhood. I've been doing this since I was a child, or this could be to do with your children, maybe looking at your children, like this guy is looking at these two, and that's teaching you something that, your values have changed. You are a new person now. So let's see where all this is going. Well, where it's come from. We have the Seven of Pentacles coming up as the foundation. This is something that you've put in a lot of time and effort in, and in a very Taurian way. Seven of Pentacles is very kind of slow, diligent work. Plant the seeds, water the seeds, make sure that everything's done. You're waiting for your garden to blossom. But for some of you, I'm getting the sense that what you've been getting back from your garden, it's not exactly what you want. The rewards that you've gotten back for the work that you've put in. Some of you are questioning if you put your efforts in the right direction. But with these two coming up here, especially with Judgment, you learn from that. The whole reason you look back and draw a line under it is so you are prepared and ready to move forward into your new future. You can face the future without fear. And this is part of it. And I think the question mark's coming in about, where did I put in my efforts? Pentacles are always about our safety, our security, right? So what efforts have you been putting in to secure yourself, to feel safe, to have that stability in your life? Because it kind of feels like you've done everything you can. And for some people, this could be the work that you do. This can be the way you are in relationships, because relationships give us security and stability, right? And it's not working. That's what I'm getting from this, that especially coming up as a past energy, because this can talk about patience and rewards. And some of you have been really patient. You have been patiently waiting, but have you been putting your efforts in the right area to get the rewards that you want? Massive rethinking coming in here, massive rethinking. And where does that lead? Well, we have the Chariot coming up here. You have two victory cards actually that come up. And the Chariot talks about, yes, victory, but victory through our own determination and efforts. No more, you're the chariot here, right? You're the one that's driving this chariot forward. No more are you kind of stuck in the garden, plowing away, doing this stuff. It's not about that. This is about almost like, screw it, let's go. Balancing head and heart and going forward. This can be kind of frightening. It can be a little overwhelming if you think about it. If I stuck you in a chariot and said, let's go, off you go forward. And the horses, they might be wanting to go in two different directions. This is about focusing on one thing. What is the direction that you want to go in? And it's clear to you. It will be clear to you because you have Judgment energy sat above it. And with Judgment sat above it, it's like you've been preparing yourself for this. You've been working towards, especially with Seven of Pentacles here. You know where you want to go. Now it's about just holding on and making sure that you go in that direction. It does talk about victories. That's the thing with the Chariot. It's you can achieve what you want to, and it's not just about the reassurance of that. It's about you feeling that you can do that. And you have that kind of echoed here as well. You feel that you can go forward. I can do this. I have to balance my head and heart, but I'm going to go in that one direction. It might be that you pick one direction over another. Where does this lead? Well, the reason you're doing this, and remember the future, it hasn't happened yet, and this is only one possible future. Why are you doing this? Because of the recognition. The Six of Wands is another victory card, but it's success. Now that mission has been completed, that job has been done. I always see this guy as like a conquering hero, like he's coming back. He's got that victory wreath up here, and he's been on that diplomatic mission. He's gone on that, whatever it was that he went off to do, he's done it. This can be returning from a trip. This can be returning from some work that you've done, but you come back and you're recognized for it. You receive the recognition that you needed or you wanted. This can be recognition at work, in a work situation. This can be in a relationship. We have the Six of Cups here. Maybe someone from the past that, you did something in the past and they come back and say to you, doesn't have to be a lover, just remember that, people. But, somebody comes back and says, wow, I remember you did this for me. And it reminds you of something. It's like, yeah, maybe at the time I thought I didn't get my rewards, but I actually did. I do get the recognition that I want. So what's the advice? How do you get this victory? How do you get the recognition and the praise? And how can you hold your head up high? I mean, the other thing of this, forget what other people say. It's you. You can be proud of, what you've done, of the work that you've put in, or what you're trying to achieve. Because that can be another thing, right? We're told that pride is bad. But what's the point of doing anything if you don't have pride in your work? If you don't have, I'm getting from this, yes, you're the one putting in the effort. And yes, there's a whole kind of group of people around him But he doesn't seem to be looking down at them. He sat on the horse because he is proud of what he's done. Are you proud of what you do, Taurus? Like, whatever that is, whatever area that is. And that might be why you've had this time of reflection, thinking, you know what, I did right. And even if I didn't, forgive myself. I'm going to go forward and I'm going to do better. And you will. And you have here the King of Wands as your advice. And the King of Wands, so some of you might be dealing with a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But I've kind of been getting this card a lot for people, especially during like this Aries energy that we've had. The King of Wands, he's very much, he's very confident. I always say, look at him. He's probably my favorite King of Wands out of every single deck that I own. And if you've been looking at my daily Instagram posts, I have a lot of tarot decks. But he's probably my favorite because he's so extravagant. Look at him. He's to be looked at. And this is about stepping out into the limelight. I know a lot of Taurus people, you guys don't do that. You don't step out into the limelight. You kind of tinker away in the background with the Seven of Pentacles. If you're coming up as your advice being the King of Wands, this is about, being seen, going for what you want. I always see the King and Queen of Wands as like the celebrities, the ones that step out into the spotlight, the actors, the kind of marketing experts, the ones that are noticed what they do. And that's the same energy of Wands energy coming up here. This is about being more bold, going forward, and knowing that you can have what you want. Like, you don't need to just tinker away in the garden. It will come to you. It will come to you if you step out there and say the right people will come to you, the right job offers, the right whatever, because you do have judgment here. And maybe because you put efforts into one area and the results you got back, you thought, well, this is not going to happen. But judgment says things that you thought that were dead. Maybe you thought your garden was dead. Like, I'm not getting the results I want, the rewards I want. Judgment says rebirth. It might be sometimes we think we've lost the ability to love, but we haven't. We've lost the ability to get out there and mingle with other people. We haven't. Whatever it is, it's general, so it's going to play out differently for each of you. Oh gosh, I just dropped it around the back. Hold on one second. Okay, guys, so the card that flew down the back, I'm not going to accept it though, but I'll talk about it, is the Princess of Swords. It's the Page of Swords. This can be some kind of brutal honesty, being brutally honest with ourselves. So I'm going to pop it back in the deck. Okay, let's go. I love your reading, Taurus, and I'm pretty certain it's like the energy's picking up for you guys, which is why you're getting these kinds of messages. You guys have been getting some really kind of strong, overriding messages coming through anyway. Now, we have the Tower coming up here. The Tower, I know everyone gets frightened with this, but it's tearing down the old structures, and a lot of people, yes, this happens to us. And you guys do have all this kind of we'll talk about that in May, but there's major changes happening for you guys. And with the Tower coming up here, it's almost like you're being prepared for it. Now, for a lot of people, and I've got this card a lot for a lot of people, it's almost like we're tearing things down. Yes, initially we might have been forced to, we get forced to kind of tear down things that are not working, maybe relationships or how we are at work. May just even be the way that we are in a situation, right? But with the Tower coming in, it serves us. It ultimately serves us. Now, people see this card usually as the card for Mars, that kind of action, but I don't. I see it as more kind of like Uranus, or Uranus if you prefer, energy, because it's that sudden change. It's sudden. And it's kind of strange because this is a kind of transformation change to everything changes. Like those things that don't work for us, they come down. And your reading kind of says that anyway. You're reviewing that. So you might be the force of the Tower in your own life at this time. It could be that, you are now, there could be people around you looking at you thinking, what, what's going on with you, Taurus? We have the Queen of Swords coming up with this. And the Queen of Swords, she's all about authenticity. She's gone through so much, right? Judgment says that. You've gone through so much. You know what you've gone through. The Seven of Pentacles, you know what you've struggled. You know what efforts you've put into situations. And the Queen of Swords is telling you, well, look, have you turned all of that into your experience? Because she does that. She's probably gone through judgment. And she's like, all of those difficult experiences I've had, they've given me knowledge. I now know what to do. I now know who I am. I can sit high on my horse and show who I am. This is about a new you. There might be new thoughts, new ideas. You may be dealing with, you have fire energy here, you have air energy here, which is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Someone could have unexpectedly come into your life with the Tower coming up. But I'm getting that this is more you guys. It's more you, because we have the High Priestess coming up here as well. Now, the High Priestess talks about your intuition, your gut feeling. There is a stirring within your soul. The High Priestess says that, and she says to trust it. This might be, in the past, you've been kind of very passive. You've been very tinkering away in the garden, right? Getting things done behind the scenes, no more. With the King of Wands coming up, with the Queen of Swords, because she's very much, like, she's not afraid to say who she is, and she only wants the truth. So this is a bit of a shocker energy. It's not bad, guys, before you say that, because this is your main energy. This just clarifies it more. This is not additional. It's not an add-on. It's more an explanation for why this is happening. And it's more like, because there has been the Tower. Things have been getting torn down in your life for a while. A new you has emerged from this. Queen of Swords will only put up with the truth. She only wants the truth. She will only speak the truth. She knows who she is. And that's about now conveying maybe some intuition that you have, a gut feeling that you have. Because you cannot get past this energy, the King of Wands and the Six of Wands, which is about coming out and showing that this is who I am. This is what's going on. Passion. What did I say about fire burning? Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. And sometimes we need that. We need that passion. Like, what is it that you truly want? This might have been some old, with that Seven of Pentacles coming up as the past, there was some dream, there was some work, there was something that you were putting effort into. You don't want to do that anymore. You're going in a different direction. And no one's forcing you to. Yes, we've got major arcana energy, but this is more you. What would you hold your head up and say, yes, I did this? What are you wanting to go for? What are you confident about? What are you independently saying, I'm going to go for this. This is what I truly want. For some of you in your love life, there might be someone who stirred your passion. And then it's you that must go for it. There's no more kind of wait and see. I'll just work away in my garden and wait for this to come through for me. Oh gosh, okay. And the bloody cards are violent. There we go. What did I just say? Demonstrate love. Find out what's important to the people you love and act on it. I kind of feel like, Taurus, you guys are going to be shocking a few people. Okay. So this with the Six of Cups. This is unfinished symphony. Now, for some of you, yes, this also talks about looking back. But it doesn't have to be going back. Unfinished. Sorry, that's very kind of the light kind of glaring off that, if you can see it. Everyone has that situation, right? That symphony that has not been completed, or we think back what would have happened. There is this kind of reflection, kind of reflecting on the past energy that's coming up here. Unfinished symphony is asking you to finish that symphony, so you can move on and create a new masterpiece. Now, either you finish the symphony that was there with a different ending. How do you want this to end? And not endings in a bad way. It's an unfinished symphony. Maybe you just didn't know how to complete that. Maybe you just didn't know, you got stuck at a certain place and you don't know. And that symphony can be your work, your relationships, your family relationships, your love life, whatever it is. Sometimes that can come up, when it can be for anything, like retired people. If you're not working, even if you're completely single, what do you want for yourself? Because we're always manifesting, we're always creating. If this didn't satisfy you, then what does satisfy you? Where do you want to go? And sometimes how do you finish that symphony? Well, you might speak to someone, have a conversation, express how you're feeling. This might be doing something differently within work or, your love life. Now you're doing something differently. There is a very different vibe and energy coming in for you guys. Maybe that's what judgment is about for you guys as well. That you're going back to complete this so you can go forward into a new future. So you can hold your head up high. Sometimes we're not proud of how we acted in the past, right? And that can be a big thing to kind of admit that, fix it, and then move forward. And there we go. Look what it says. It says, dearest you, there is only one you, and you have a unique path and a special purpose. You're supposed to have specific experiences in this world and meet certain people. But then it is up to you how you live, how awake you choose to be, how awake you choose to be, and how willing you are to grow and strip away what's false. Don't compare yourself to others. It's easy to think a person is happier just because the outside looks good according to society's standards. But you can't know anyone's internal experience. Compare yourself only to your past self. See how far you've come. That's what I was saying, right? About looking back. Don't be distracted by what others are doing or accomplishing. Stay focused on what inspires you. That's how you get successful and find happiness. Want what you have now, not what someone else has. We love you immensely and know your journey ahead is sparkling with miracles and wondrous things. Trust. Loving you forever and ever. And yeah, that's what it kind of is. Like, you guys are on this unique journey, and it's about looking back at your cycle, looking back at your dreams, what happened in your past, and not in a kind of getting stuck in the past way. All of this is to release yourself, to be like the Queen of Swords, she's learned who she is. And I'm pretty certain you know who you are. You're stepping into a new version of you. This is very much like tying up. The tying up of like a what am I trying to say here? Like, old, anything that's not done, you're just tying up loose ends. That's the thing I'm trying to say. Tying up loose ends, figuring out what you've wanted because you're headed in a brand new direction. You're about to step out into a brand new spotlight.